top, man, shit. Make sure you let these niggas know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Get on this motherfucker. Let these niggas know what time it is, you understand? We royalty.
King Ty really one of the realest. I survived drive-bys on them killers. Like I got 9 lives, I got 9 wives. I said fine wine with them bitches. I'm spitting fire bombs in your city. I got like 8 or 9 niggas with me. And we all ready to die in a minute. One West, we the best in the business. I get offended, I fuck niggas fended. Talking they get it, but niggas is timid. Rappers is softer than linen. Catch me out parking lot pimping. What more could I give them? I've been the hottest forever. Why would I lie about cheddar? I could do better. I just put loyalty first. Royalty coming whenever. Pull off in a Jetta. Curvature, you me, you sweater. My feel like wearing a sweater in summertime weather. Haters so salty, no pepper. You not that seasoned or clever. I'm with the rebel. Used to pump bass with the treble. Baking a cake in a kettle. I used to cook up the work. Now I just cook with the metal. Gotta keep foot to the pedal. Yeah, let me give it gas on the highway. Let the music blast on the calm day. Break the Glock down into 3 parts. Put the 3 together like my Najee. Sipping like Bombay with my enclave. Got my mind made. Ain't no time waste. No. Eating prime steak with a fine date at a fine place. Getting violated.
Hey, listen. I already told these niggas. You understand? I call up King Ty. He say, what's up? I say, what's good, my lord? Listen, he like, listen. These niggas ain't ready for none of this. You understand? I said, listen, if the nigga ain't one West, he ain't got it on his arm or his chest. I don't give a fuck about the nigga. It's just me and my niggas. We royalty, yeah.
I got the hammer, you running, man. Come through your window like rubber man. Snapping your neck like a rubber band. Talk to my dog like the sun is set. He told me murder you rappers. Uppercut sinking you vertical actors. Y'all got me coming with verbal attackers. I might attack you type physical too. The way I be rhyming, the way I be shining. I'm blinding these rappers like Mr. Magoo. These haters miserable, we indivisible. Look at these haters like they got no clue. No clue. They hold up ones and them W's. Really, bro, don't get too comfortable. If you ain't cut from the cloth, co-signed by the boss, then we do not fuck with you. Cause you wouldn't last here. I told you the same shit last year. Already told. Keep talking that trash, I have a car, come kick your ass in. Already know. Your jaw like glassware. We pull up, not rocking no mask there. Don't care if you spot us, you know how you got us. It's over, you saying your last prayer.
Okay. Shalom. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Brakatham. My sister Yahweh Shamar Al-Thun, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. I'm Priest and Officer Kwamgwan. This is the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We've been bringing out this truth since 1969, and that is that blacks, Latinos, First Nation man and woman are the chosen people of the Most High God, and the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks about, the so-called white man. So today's topic, Juneteenth. You know, we're going to bring out some history about Juneteenth. You know what it is. Bring out some fine points, point out some scriptures, and we're just going to jump right into it. All right. So first of all, let me share my screen. Let's get the definition of Google's definition of Juneteenth. All right, so bear with me a little bit. All right, here we go. This is Wikipedia. All right, so Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States. It is celebrated annually on June 19th to commemorate the ending of slavery in the United States. Good night. The ending of slavery. All right. The holiday's name first used in the 1890s, June and 19th, referring to June 19th, 1865, the day when Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas at the end of the American Civil War. In the Civil War period, slavery came to an end in various areas of the United States at different times. Many enslaved Southerners escaped, demanded wages, stopped work, or took up arms against the Confederacy of Slave States. In January 1865, Congress finally proposed the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution for the national abolition of slavery. By June 1865, almost all enslaved persons had been freed by the victorious Union Army or by state abolition laws. When the National Abolition Amendment was ratified in December, the remaining enslaved people in Delaware and Kentucky were freed. All right, so that's just a little rough background about it. Let me see here. Okay, let's get into celebrations and traditions. We're gonna read a little bit about that. All right. It says celebrations and traditions. The holiday is considered the longest running African American holiday. Now, for those you don't know, Here in America, we are called so-called African Americans. Really, we are the children of Israel, the Israelites, the real Jews that the Bible speaks about. So that's something that they call us, African Americans. African from, I believe, Leo Scipius Africanus, and America from Amerigo Vespucci. So they basically calling you two oppressors. So that's just a adage or a byword that's applied to the children of Israel, but that's not who we really are. But, you know, for the sake of the class, we're using African American. All right. And has been called America's second Independence Day. Look at that. They try to throw that in there. You know, America, July 4th is an Independence Day for Americans. And they trying to say that Juneteenth is like America's second Independence Day. That's good night. Juneteenth falls on June 19th and has often been celebrated on the third Saturday in June. All right. Let me see. Go down to the celebrations. Early celebrations consisted of baseball, fishing, and rodeos. African Americans were often prohibited from using public facilities for their celebrations, so they were often held at churches or near water. Look at that. And that's where you get all that that hooting and hollering and celebration in the Christian church. And this is what, you know, our ancestors were used to, you know, during slave times. You know, we couldn't rent out a hall or go somewhere, you know, that the white man could go and, you know, to celebrate his whatever he wanted to celebrate. You know, we were banned from that. You understand that? Celebrations were characterized by elaborate, large meals and people wearing their best clothing. That sounds like holidays to me. That sounds like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter. And they put on their Sunday's best. This is where these things start at. It was common for formerly enslaved people and their descendants to make a pilgrimage to Galveston. Damn, good night. As early festivals received news coverage, such as this, talking about two oppressors, served to assimilate African American memories with the dominant American story. So we'll stop right there. All right, that's just a little bit about the celebrations traditions. All right, so I wrote down a few things too. All right, so I know that the Juneteenth is coincides with the you see the flag, what they call the Marcus Garvey flag. Let me put that up on my screen. Hold on one second. Let me go back into my StreamYard. Present it here. Salakia, one moment. Okay. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. It says the Pan-African flag, also known as the Marcus Garvey flag or the UNIA flag, is a horizontal tricolor flag of red, black, and green. It was designed by Marcus Garvey in 1920 as a unifying symbol for people of African descent. So first of all, that African term right there. There's over 50-something countries in Africa, and none of those countries are united. But they throw that on black people here in America, and the so-called African Americans who are really the Israelites. They throw that on us, and they try to make us think we're some unified, you know, people with dark skin, and, you know, we're all the same. We're Africans. That's a lie. But this flag here is a thing that you see when you go to a Juneteenth celebration, or you see they're celebrating it here in America. You will see this flag. All right. Meaning of the colors. Red represents the blood that unites all people of African descent and the blood shed for liberation. That's funny because Africans do not deal with Israelites. They don't deal with niggas. So we're not some united people under the Marcus Garvey flag. Black represents the people of African descent. Green represents the abundant natural wealth of Africa. Okay. Which the white man has sucked up and took everything, you know, and called it his own. So there's really no wealth there anymore because the white man did away with all that. History and significance. The flag was created in response to a racist song mocking the African diaspora for not having a unifying symbol. It was designed to be a symbol of pride and liberation for Black people around the world. It has been adopted by various African nations and movements, including the Rastafari movement, and remains a symbol of Pan-Africanism and Black liberation. Some African countries, such as Ghana and Kenya, have incorporated the Pan-African colors into their national flags, according to Wikipedia. The flag is also sometimes called the Black Liberation Flag. So that's what you're going to see when you go to some Juneteenth cookout or some type of parade. You're going to see this flag flying high. Now, you need to ask yourself, Marcus Garvey lived in the early 1900s, I believe, you know, and this is around like 1920 when he did this. So, but where did Marcus Garvey get this from? And if you do your history and you study, you'll see that prior to that, a long time before that, the ancient Ethiopians had a flag that was similar to that. I believe, let me see. Let me stop sharing this. Let me go into another screen before we jump into some scriptures. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Here it is. All right. Yes, the colors associated with Ethiopia, specifically green, yellow, gold, and red, have significantly influenced the use of these colors in broader African culture and Pan-African movements. All right. The colors of the Ethiopian flag have influenced other African cultures. Here's why. Number one, symbol of resistance. Because Ethiopia resisted European colonial rule, it became a symbol of independence for other African nations. That's pretty much the same thing Marcus Garvey believed. Pan-Africanism. As African nations gained independence, they adopted the Ethiopian flag colors as a symbol of African unity. Many countries use green, yellow, and red on their flags to show solidity. I can't say that word, solidarity. Okay, there it is. Ghana was the first African nation to adopt these colors after Ethiopia gained independence. It goes into talk about Rastafarianism, went on broader meaning. These colors are also represent broader ideas within African culture. All right, we went into what this colors represent. So this is where it predated Marcus Garvey. Okay, so the things that you see today in the Juneteenth celebration, the flag and all that, the colors and everything, it basically started from ancient Ethiopian culture. Now, understand, we are the Israelites. We are the children of Israel, the chosen people of the Most High God. We are not Ethiopians. We are not to take on any culture from the Ethiopians. You understand that? Now, Marcus Garvey, I don't know all the works that Marcus Garvey did, but I know he was about unifying his people. But of course, he didn't know about the Most High God, Yahweh. He was not, he didn't understand that we were Israelites, and he adopted a culture that I'm pretty sure he learned from his parents or the people from his time. You understand that? So he was a false prophet, basically, is what I'm saying to you. So this was a man who thought he was doing the right thing and he wasn't. Okay. And then today you have in America, it's all about a money grab. You understand that? All these holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, your birthday, Juneteenth, Independence Day, New Year's, whatever it is, it's all about money. You understand that? They didn't accept Juneteenth into America as a national holiday just to, help black people. That's not why they did it. They did it because it generates goddamn money. That's what it's talking about. That's what they really are about, money. That's what the oppressor is about, money. All right. Now I'm going to show you something here. Let me see. Let me share one more thing before I jump into some scriptures. Okay. So we talked about Juneteenth as being a predominantly, if you go to a parade and stuff like that, you're going to see pretty much black people. They're going to have their own booths. They're going to be selling things, and it's okay to support black businesses. I'm not here to say that you're supposed to support, your own people, but understand that our own people are a small amount of the gross or the progress that they're going to make in our day. It's really the businesses that the oppressor owns that's going to benefit more. I'm going to show you here. All right. So this is in Google, right? It said, I typed in how much is gross for businesses on Juneteenth. It says the economic impact of Juneteenth is becoming increasingly significant. Though it is difficult to pinpoint a precise total for the entire country, however, some data points shed light on its economic influence. Consumer spending, number one. Consumer spending around Juneteenth showed a significant increase in recent years, with a 24% jump between 2020 and 2021, and another 15% increase in 2022. This trend was expected to continue in 2023. All right, we're in 25 now. Black-owned businesses. A growing number of Americans plan to shop at Black-owned businesses for Juneteenth, indicating increased support for these enterprises. The My Black Receipt initiative has attracted nearly $10 million in consumer spending supporting Black-owned businesses as of June 2023. Federal contracts. The U.S. Treasury Department significantly increased contract awards to Black-owned businesses with a 60% rise over 2 years, reaching $188 million in FY 2022. All right. So Black businesses do profit because, we're selling to our own people and we are going to make some money out of it. But it's nothing compared to what the oppressor is going to make. I'm going to show you something here in Pittsburgh. All right. Let me see. Let me stop. I'm going to show you this one more, and then we're going to jump into some scriptures. I'm here in Pittsburgh, right? Look at this here. Here's what the provided search results say about the economic impact of Juneteenth in Pittsburgh. Significant economic impact. The Juneteenth celebrations have a substantial positive economic impact on Pittsburgh. The 2023 celebration brought over 48,000 people and generated nearly 4.2 million in economic impact. All right. And it goes on to say down, I'm not going to read that, but it goes on to say that the city basically funded the events surrounding Juneteenth, and they put like 125,000 in, and then another 125,000, and so it's like 250,000 total. But they earned 4.2. You understand that? Let me see. Here's another one. An organizer, B. Marshall, reported that his 2024 Juneteenth event drew over 65,000 people and generated more than 5 million in economic activity. Another source mentions over 70,000 attendees and a 7 million economic impact. Okay, so we're just telling you what's happening here. One of the other big things that happens during Juneteenth, tourism impact. Juneteenth is seen as an important event for attracting visitors to Pittsburgh, driving tourism and benefiting local businesses like hotels and restaurants. Prosper. You understand that? And of course, they are owned by the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about. So that's what this is about. Just like any other holiday, it's about money for the oppressor. That's why they gave you a Juneteenth. They don't give a damn about black unity. And, you know, and that's obvious why you see the way black people are being unalived daily and treated how we've been treated since we've been here in America for over 400 something years. Now let's get into some scriptures. All right. I'm gonna get now remember, this is, you know, the flag, the whole symbolism behind Juneteenth is like kind of like an Ethiopian feel, right? All right. Now in the scriptures, we know that the Lord says we are not to be like any other nations, the heathen nations. The Israelites are not to take on the customs or practices of other people. Now let's see how the Lord feels about the Ethiopians. All right. Make it present my screen. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. Now, this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 12. And it says, ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. I read it again, Zephaniah 2 and 12. Ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. Now, why is the Lord saying this? Because not only has the Ethiopians, but every other nation has had their hand in bringing the children of Israel down. And he's saying here that he's going to kill the Ethiopians. He's going to unalive them. You understand that? Now, we want to take on a culture and rock a flag that has to do with the Ethiopians, but the Lord ain't with the Ethiopians. Nimrod was an Ethiopian. Now, in the Bible, the Cush, Nimrod, the son of Cush, the Cushites are a tribe of, the Hamites, which, you know what I mean? They are the Ethiopians. Now, Nimrod was opposed to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High God. He was the first mighty African or Ethiopian there was. You know what I mean? You can find out in the book of Genesis. And God was against what Nimrod did. He tried to build the Tower of Babel and fight against the Lord. He wasn't successful, but he tried. You know what I mean? Just like all the other heathens, they try, but they're not going to be successful. But yes, the Lord he's not with the Ethiopians. So why are we going to take on culture or customs of people that the Lord doesn't give a damn about? The Lord only deals with the children of Israel. So Zephaniah 2 and 12, ye Ethiopians also, you shall be slain by my sword. Okay. The Lord wants to do away with the Ethiopians. He don't give a damn about the Ethiopians. Nimrod is nothing. You understand that? The Cushites, the Africans, all these different nations, you got some type of unity of Africa in your mind. The Lord is not with it. He does not deal with these people. All right. Let me go to Deuteronomy 28 and 44. Salakia, one moment. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. And the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about the curses and rewards for the children of Israel. For keeping the law, statutes, and commands, the rewards, and not keeping the law, statutes, and commands, the curses. Okay. So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 44. Now it says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And this is who's this talking to? It's talking to the children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. This is what's going on. You have Juneteenth, right? Brothers and sisters might make a little bit of money. They might get some income or whatever, but you're still the tail. You're not the head. You understand that? First of all, the oppressor gave you to go ahead to even celebrate the holiday. You understand that? Which is wickedness in his own right. But then he's going to make him and his devil friends and devil business owners are going to make more money off Juneteenth than you ever will. That's why it says he shall lend to thee. He'll put 125,000 into your nigga cause. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He don't need your help. You don't need anything from you. Only thing he needs you to do is celebrate holidays and bring him money. You understand that? But you can't do nothing for the oppressor. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And that's what's going on. The goddamn white man is the head here in America, and we are the tail. You understand that? That's why you got to go to him to get funding to celebrate Juneteenth. You understand that? You got to go to him. You understand that? To work at his businesses and wait 2 weeks for your paycheck. You understand that? And anything that you got to do, you got to go to the goddamn oppressor and get his approval to do it, because we're cursed. We're cursed here in America because we are following the laws and commands of the devil. You know, America is the beast. You know what I'm saying? The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks about. So, you know, taking on the customs of these oppressors, you're taking on a heathen custom. And these oppressors didn't start a goddamn thing. They didn't start anything. They learned these things from the Africans. So they're giving you some watered down version of a culture that's not even theirs. All right. Let's go to Jeremiah 14 and 15. Jeremiah 14 and 15. All right. Here we go. Jeremiah 14 and 15. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. All right. Now this is talk about, back then, the Lord was saying there was going to be like a lot of trials and tribulations are going to be brought on the children of Israel because of our wickedness. And we had prophets during that time that was saying, oh, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We prophesied that we're going to be okay. It's not going to happen. The Lord is saying, I didn't send these people, these prophets that's talking to you. I didn't send them. You understand that? These are people who prophesy their own things. And that's kind of like what you get with Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, T.D. Jakes. The Lord is not with these people. You understand that? So you got to be able to understand and identify a false prophet. You got to be able to identify a false prophet. So once he came with that green, black, and red flag, I should have told you right then and there, this ain't for us. Now, of course, if you didn't have your culture, you didn't know that you were an Israelite, I mean, you can easily be fooled by these things. Just like a lot of us are born here in America and we grew up as Christians. We went into Christian church because of our grandmothers and fathers and mothers, you know what I mean? Aunts and uncles. So we were lied to and we took on the culture of other people. So it can happen. But because of the ISU became the commanding general Yohana since 1969, the truth is here now. So there's no excuses now. The truth is here. It's in your city. We're in every city. ISUPK.com. Log on. Get into this truth. Put your brick in. All right. Jeremiah 14 and 15. Therefore saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, I sent them not. All right. So we'll stop right there. The Lord didn't send these people. So when you hear people come along and say, God loves everyone, that's a lie. The Lord didn't send that prophet. You understand that? Pork is the new white meat. You can eat pork. That's a lie. You understand that? You see, you turn on T.D. Jakes' Christmas special in his church, and he's celebrating Christmas. But if you go to Amos 5 and 21, it tells you that we're not to keep these feast days. What is it? Jeremiah 10 and 1, where it talks about the Christmas tree. Yeah, we're not supposed to do these things. In the Bible, it's against all these things that these prophets are saying. Although the prophets say something completely different. So that lets you know that the Lord is not with them. He didn't send them. All right. So you have to check. If you're here today and you're in the world today, you need to check with the ISU became the commanding general Yohana before you follow or do anything. And we'll get you right. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 30 and 1. Isaiah 30 and 1. Slock it one moment. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. This is a very heavy scripture. Woe. Woe means look out. Danger coming to the rebellious children. Who's the rebellious children? the children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, First Nation man and woman, saith the Lord, that take counsel. I mean, we take knowledge or things that we think are knowledge or wisdom or the advice from people that don't have our best interests. You understand that? That take counsel, but not of me. So we want to take counsel from a goddamn white man. We want to take counsel from lost niggas like Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, and that cover what they covering, but not in my spirit. So we cover ourselves, or we, you know what I mean? We cover ourselves with the culture of other people. Adopting that Ethiopian flag is covering yourself with a covering, but it's not of the Lord. You understand that? Because the Lord ain't dealing with the Ethiopians. We talked about that already. We have a culture already, but and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. So you cover yourself with the covering from another people, or you take on the culture of other people. You're just adding sin on sin on sin on sin. You understand that? And that's our problem. That's where we're at today, and that's why we are so destroyed the way we are. All right, let's get I'm gonna go 2 Chronicles 14. I believe it's verse 9. Let me go there. 2 Chronicles. Let's lock in one moment. Okay. Let's lock in one moment. Okay. So I'm not going to read this verse, but I'll just tell you basically what it is. It's a battle with the children of Israel with the Ethiopians, and the Ethiopians were destroyed and defeated in the battle. And I just want you to know that, you know, that's how the Lord feels about these people. They are not his people. And why would we take on the customs and the practices of the people that the Lord has destroyed in war many times over and does not give a damn about? It's like, you know, in the book of 2 Ezra, talk about it calls the heathens spit, called them spittle. The Lord, that's how the Lord feels about these people. So let me go to the next Leviticus 18:3. Now I think we got one more after that. Leviticus 18:3. All right. Okay. This is heavy here. All right. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 3. It says, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So this is talking about the Egyptians, who's another stock of Hamites. Mizraim, I believe, is what they are. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. So we were in that land, and we saw a lot of wickedness going on. The ancient Egyptians did a lot of despicable things. They worship animals, nature, the sun, you know, all types of different things. And you know, they did all types of abominable things in the Lord's eyes. And the Lord is saying we're not supposed to do what they do. You know what I mean? Now we know that flag is originated in ancient Ethiopian, which is, you know, basically the same stock of people. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, the Canaanites is where the land where we went, which became, you know, Israel, Jerusalem. You know, the Canaanites, the Africans were in that land first, and the Lord threw them out of that land and gave it to us. Where I bring you shall you not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. We're not supposed to do what they do. You understand that? Don't take a green, black, and red flag or yellow, red, and green flag and put it up in the air and say, this represents me and I'm a proud African. I'm a united African, because that's not who we are. That's a lie. We've been taught that in these whorehouses of schools that we go to in America. It's a lie. We are not Africans. You understand that? And the Lord is saying we're not supposed to do what they do. That's why it says, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dealt, shall you not do. Same thing with the Ethiopians, the Cushites, and America, even today, being in America. Just because you're here does not mean they give you a right to celebrate Christmas or Easter or Halloween, Thanksgiving. You understand? Or just because you're here in America and you don't have the money that you think you should have, that you should sell drugs to your brothers and your sisters. You understand that? We cannot be like the nations round about us. The Lord does not want us to be like them. All right. So let's not take on their customs. All right. All right. Let's get one more. Let's get Matthew 6:24. We'll close it out with that. Salakia. Okay. And this is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 24. And hear this good. All right. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. All right. So you want to serve the Most High God, Yahweh, because that is our Father. That is the one and only true God. You understand that? But if you celebrate Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, these established American holidays, Juneteenth, you understand that? All these different things, your birthday, you're going to be serving the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about. Because even the Juneteenth thing is a watered down version of something else. You understand that? So the oppressor allows these things because it makes money for him. But by you doing this, you're going to love him and hate the Most High God, because the Lord is not with these people. He's not with these holidays and these things that go on. That's why it says, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. So if you cannot serve God and mammon, mammon is wealth. We know who the Most High God is. So if you're in it for the money, if you're doing something for the money, you don't love God, because you can't serve both. It said it right here in the Bible. If you love money, you don't love God. You understand that? You love the oppressor, you don't love the Most High God, because the oppressor, the Most High God is not with the oppressor. He hates the goddamn oppressor. He hates Esau, and he hates the heathens. You understand that? He favors the children of Israel of all people on the earth. All right. So again, Juneteenth is just another day that they gave the black people. It's like throwing you a crumb, basically. And you can earn a little bit of money, but the oppressor is going to earn way more than you on your day. You understand that? And not only that, you're just going to do nothing but piss the Most High God off, because you're going to take culture of another people. You understand that? So with that, I'm going to close out the class again. For Water for tuning in. I appreciate it. Get online, support this truth, pay your tithes. The ISUBK is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? The truth is here. You don't have to look anywhere else further. All right. So shalom, Israel, the Water for tuning in.